Hi, my name's Chris. I'm a French coach at OuiCommunicate, and in this video I'll be reminding viewers of a few basic principles on how to best learn French. So I've actually just stepped out of a lesson with a learner who's doing really well, and you probably recognise yourself. Hello, I'm waving a little hello to you. Your name starts with a J. We were talking about the best ways of learning French, and I've literally just stepped out of the lesson, made this video because the things we discussed are still ripe in my mind. So I just checked the date. He started on the 7th of April 2025. It's been a year and a week since he started to learn French with me, and I'm speaking French at top speed with him. He's doing really well. I'm very happy with the way he learns. So why was he successful and why are millions of other people not successful? This is what I would like to talk about today. So I think the first thing to establish that's very important is that it's always the good old-fashioned methods that work. And it's very hard for a professional to know just how much witchcraft is out there on YouTube. And if you look at the evolution of the industry up to the 90s, the industry was in the hands of professionals. You didn't yet have YouTube, and anyone couldn't just step in and promote witchcraft and say, hello folks, I'm an influencer, I speak 19 languages, or I'm a teenager, I speak French as a native and therefore it makes me a French teacher. You didn't have all that. So the industry was in the hands of professionals. You didn't just work in a language cool just because you looked cool on YouTube. There was no YouTube. There was no place to look cool on. What I mean about old-fashioned methods is that it's still about repetition, studying, and repeating it until you know it. And it's the only thing that I've ever seen work. There's a lady who started doing French with me. She was 50, what was she? I think she was 51. We learned French in 200 hours without even particularly trying. Have you ever heard of the 400 hours to learn French from the Foreign Service Institute? It's all over Google. Just type how long does it take to learn French? You'll get the FSI result. We halved that. Why did we do that? Because we followed a system. She studied diligently and we learned French in 200 hours, and I have video evidence to prove it. Worksheets. You open a worksheet, the present tense, adjectives, adverbs, how pronouns work. You start at the top, you go all the way down, you repeat until you know it. You end with the exercises, you check your answers, you repeat it 15 times if you have to. And I feel that even stating this goes against a certain amount of witchcraft. It's become so unfashionable to even think in this way. I'll tell you something, for a professional like myself, it's even hard these days to position myself on a video to tell people how to learn French because I don't know what people believe. I don't know what the amount of belief in witchcraft is these days. I have no idea. I see from the corner of my eyes people saying, I'll teach you French in 2 days, I'll teach you French in a week or something. I don't know. I don't know what people believe. It's almost like you have to redefine, hello folks, do you realise that Duolingo will never teach you anything? Do you know this? Or do you really just believe it's going to do something? Do you believe it's going to teach you anything at all? Do you think that exposing yourself to Netflix films is going to do anything? Do you think that the 15-year-old influencer who claims to have learnt French in 3 weeks is telling the truth? Do you think that? Yes or no? You know, it's very hard for a professional to speak what seems to me like common sense, and it's almost like you have to redefine things, but it's very hard to redefine something that you feel, that I feel, doesn't need to be redefined, but today it seems that we have to. You actually have to tell people, by the way, you know, when you see a tree out there, well, the trunk isn't blue and it's not made of rubber. Do we agree on this? So the method is always, you open your worksheet, start at the top, all the way down to the bottom, repeat until you know it. And on my website, you watch the video, you do the worksheet, you do the self-assessment, you check your answers, and if you don't have all the answers right, well, you repeat until you know it. And that's the only secret. It's the only method that I've ever seen work. Now, there's another thing that we spoke about with the learner who did so well, who's doing so well, is that there's a difference. You almost have to redefine this, that hoping is not going to work. Hoping to learn French with... So what I mean is, one extreme interpretation of this idea is manifestation. We've all heard about manifestation, but what I'm saying is you have to visualize your future results. You have to see yourself as a speaker of French. You have to make that decision. Let me tell you something, 100% of every successful French learner I've ever seen made a decision with a capital D. That decision was, I'm going to learn French. They saw themselves in their mind's eye as successful speakers of French. Now this changed everything, because to whence you wish to go, so do you walk, obviously. Right? So if you decide you're going to be a successful speaker of French, well, that starts to influence the path you follow. Then you start to take things seriously. If you see yourself as a competent speaker within a year or two, which is highly achievable, by the way, a year is highly achievable, well, you're not going to start using whatever fashionable app there is. Let us not forget that learning a language is an impressive skill. As soon as we know someone who speaks 3 or 4 languages, we tell other people about it. I have a mate, he knows 4 languages. So we know it's an impressive skill, but we pretend as if it's just going to happen. We know it's impressive, we pretend as if it's going to happen with minimal effort. It's not so. You're going to have to work hard at it and repeat it as many times as necessary until it sticks. In fact, the nature of the game hasn't changed since forever, since the Egyptian times, since even before that. You know, we always think that technology is here to save us. Oh, these days we have apps and we have AI and it's going to make it, I'm going to swallow a pill and I'm going to speak multiple languages. The human mind hasn't changed. It's still the same game. You have to rationalize, you have to repeat, and you have to learn French in a structured way for results. It won't change. It's always the age-old principles that come back. Learn within a structured system, repeat until you know it, and view your future results. Not in a mystical sort of way, but if you decide you'll know French within a year or two, and it's a necessity, you'll start to think in terms of, okay, I need to follow the path towards success. And I'm going to have to make it happen with the right tools. I hope this video was useful. My name is Chris. I will make of you a speaker of French within 100 hours or even less. Find me at OuiCommunicate.com. I hope this video was useful. See you very soon.